And welcome back to another BobBlast. Hi, I'm Bob Burridge, and this one is all about drawing, sketching, everyday common objects. And why is that important? You know, it's so funny, I hear a lot of my students say, well, I can't draw a stick figure. And I say, well, heck, I can't either, and I don't want to. But drawing is one of the first single most foundation things you should do, I believe, before you begin a painting, and that's why they teach drawing in the freshman year in art schools. One of the ones that got me so excited about drawing again is one of my favorite painters, Richard Diebenkorn. I went back and got one of his books and opened it up again, and notice I love his paintings, right? We all love his paintings. And then I remembered he drew a lot with pen and ink. I mean, it's pretty strong stuff of everyday common objects. His eyeglasses, his cigarette butts, his glasses, you know, anything that was on the table, common objects. And that really taught me quickly, I've got to learn to get back into drawing because you study nothing but darks and lights and all those wonderful things. Well, I happen to like to draw anyway. And I do know I have more confidence in my paintings because I like to draw back into my paintings. Everyday common objects. From these bottles that we see every day, coffee cups is what really got me started. My dad's pair of pliers, even sunglasses, forks, anything. Toothbrushes, combs, anything. And all of a sudden you'll be building up this incredible bunch of drawings in your sketchbook. So the whole idea is to teach yourself about darks and lights and shapes against shapes, because all of this is being implanted in your brain, and when you go to include some of these simple everyday common objects in your drawings, you'll be a lot more comfortable about and say, oh yeah, I remember doing that, and it does come back, you know. So it's a great foundation for confidence. So drawing and sketching is what painters do, by the way. That's all we do, we draw and paint. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I like to do after I do a drawing. And this is the stuff that I draw with. Paper, and I like Kilimanjaro watercolor paper. I just do, it's just great stuff. And it works for me, okay? Other ones, Bristol, Strathmore Bristol. This fantastic, hard surface, and beautiful. And of course, the tone gray from Strathmore. I love to draw on top of that, because all I need is charcoal and white charcoal, right? It's beautiful. That's what the materials that I use, all right? After I do my sketching, and what I do my sketching with, believe it or not, are the Faber-Castell Artist Pitt pens. They're permanent, archival quality. They come in 3 different point sizes. They come in different colors also. So I like those sketch pens. I also love anything made by the Derwent drawing pencils. They're all messed up because I get a lot of paint on them. Believe it or not, I use a Sharpie too. All right, nothing archival quality about that, but it sure is fun to have all those different point sizes. And I also have one more thing I need to show you, is these sharp knives. When I went to art school, they taught us how to sharpen pencils. Oh yeah, and this is one of the premeditative procedures you do before you do a drawing. It helps you to think about getting your act together, you know, breathing, all that good stuff. So this is how I learned how to sharpen pencils when I was in art school, not the pencil sharpeners. And it gives you a sense of connection, I guess. So after I do the drawing, then I start coming in with some of the Derwent colored pencils and then hit it with water. And that's just really simple, quick painting technique. This is the one I did in Puerto Vallarta, you know, in that wonderful garden up there. And I love going there, just drawing simple things, just a vase, you know, a flower, palm fonts or something like that. And you get to play with all the colors and the lights and the designs and look at all the drawing and sketching still back into the painting. I happen to like to draw. I think it adds a little character to your finished piece. So let me get started, and I'm going to do one from beginning to end. So speaking of everyday common objects, I just noticed in one of my new studio guides, about painting the illusion of glass vessels. And so I'm going to redo this one again. But obviously, I draw this vessel a lot, or any glass vessels, anything to help me with my floral paintings. And I do it over and over and over and over and over. And then I move right into my paintings with a whole lot more confidence. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to show you how we'll do a simple drawing of a glass. And of course, it all comes down to lots of ovals. It's the same oval. Same oval. And even the bottom is the same oval. It's not flat. So there you go. That's the first part. There's your glass. And we'll put some liquid in there, some water. There you go. And you can keep going back over and over and over. In other words, put some passion into your drawing. And drawing is not about being perfect. Oh my gosh, no. It helps me to see where the darks are in the lights and to show the character. And there's shadow coming out here. Remember the hot spot coming on in here? There we go. And a nice big wide open. And that's as far as I'm going to go for this one. All right, that's the drawing. By the way, notice when I hold a pencil, you hold it in the back. Don't hold it up to here. You'll squeeze the bejeebies out of it. You know, you want your hand to be flying all over the place. Now we're going to have it sitting on a table, of course. Now one of the neat phenomenons that happens, because this is a round glass, that back edge of that table does not go straight across because of the concave and all the round. It's going to do something like this. You'll see it. So it's important that you set it up and light a strong light on it, and you draw what you see. And that's how you draw glass. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. I'm going to go right into a background. This is a little bit different how I paint. I usually put a toned paper down and work that way. But I'm going to do this one quickly. Now we're looking through glass, which means I'm going to see the same color in here. Kind of, sort of, right? I've got it on my brush, may as well keep using it. Now if light's coming across here, it's going to be a whole lot brighter over here, shining on the wall. And I do that for dramatic effect too. Imagine your surprise. All right, there we go. So it's nice and painterly at this point. This is a paint sketch, really. Inside here, there we go. Against the side, more water. This is really paint sketching. Now I'll come back into this with thicker paint on the next roundabout, so to speak. So here we go. Put some, we're looking in here. There we go. We're still looking through glass. Now this is, I'm just going to say this is water at this point. So the water is actually simply going to reflect the light source. So I will do this. Now we're still going to see color coming through the glass, but let's make the tabletop this pinkish color, just for the dramatic effect of it. Okay, so here's the tablecloth. But remember, we're looking at the tablecloth through the glass too, and it does this. This is really about painting the illusion of glass. And I'm doing it rather quickly, and as a sketch too. I'm going to soften the edge back here so the eye comes up to the glass, the part that's in focus. And I'm going to soften the back edge here so it disappears. Makes the glass more in focus. Now, there's an interesting thing about glass. It's always thicker on the bottom. Glass is thicker, so I'm going to make it thicker. And a little bit over in here, too. Now I want to paint the shadow. I just want to get crazy shadows. And this is where I start playing with just color. For the sheer sake of playing with color. I love the joy of painting this way. Pretty loose. Now, at the bottom of the glass is going to be the same color as up in here, by the way. is because it's reflecting from the light source. Let's see. And I'm just more concerned about the juiciness of this right there. There we go. And I'm gonna lighten up that blue now because I think it's too dark. I love being a painter. Keep changing your mind. Now there's that hot spot. This light literally goes through glass like fiber optics and it comes out the other end, just like that. So there's your hot spot. I want to play around a little bit within here with color just because I'm pretending it's reflecting something from somewhere else. Now it starts to become real painterly, and that's what I like about this. See, whoa. So I got some basic stuff done right, but now it becomes a painting, which I happen to like. I'm going to brighten up the top edge of this glass, which is white. Come on here. Now I'm just pure painting, and I will respond to whatever it calls me to do next. But then all this, wow, this is starting to become a cute little painting. I break my own rules. Yay! There are no rules, folks. Well, this is the world's quickest little sketch I wanted to show you of how the importance of painting and drawing, but drawing first. It just builds up all kinds of confidence. You see, I can come back in and do all kinds of goofy stuff now because I can and I want to. That's all about sketching first, drawing everyday common objects from your comb, your toothbrush, bottles of paint, whatever. But draw more. You'll be so much better in 30 days. Do a little drawing every day in your little sketchbook. You watch what happens to your paintings in 30 days. Hey, thanks again for watching, and make sure you share this with your friends. I can't wait to see you again on the next BobBlast. Thanks for watching.